As you guys know, I went on a challenge to see if I could change my life in 6 months. So many people have tried this challenge recently, and I've got to say, I think personally, I am probably the person who's changed the most for the better and for the most different in the past 6 months, since beginning my challenge in May. We did everything from starting the challenge in a Discord group that is still active and lovely today, where we're all trying to motivate each other to change our lives, followed up very quickly by me losing my quote-unquote stable corporate job and laid off with zero notice, then deciding to pack everything else up and do a road trip from California up to British Columbia, where we moved to Canada. Through that process, we ended up homeless for 2 weeks because of customs issues. And then finally, I started a brand new job where I'm doing something similar and different at the same time that I'm quite happy with right now in where I currently am living in my current lifestyle. And I was making YouTube videos, I was updating everybody, I was pretty consistent on my writing still, on all the habits that I was trying to build with this challenge of walking a certain amount of steps, drinking a little bit of water, trying to clear my skin, lose weight. I made progress on so many of these things, and then when October hit, I hit a wall. My husband Steven started working, and I think with that safety net, I started just feeling really unmotivated and lethargic and tired and just so exhausted. And I at first thought it was because my husband had just started working a job. He finally got his PR. Yes. And so he was able to work. And so it wasn't just me being the breadwinner, it was I had help. And I think my initial thought process was, okay, now that I feel safe, I'm gonna crash out. I'm gonna not be able to do anything because I feel safe and I feel comfortable and I don't know how to operate when I'm not running from something. I don't know how to operate when I'm not scared. I don't know how to operate when, for the first time in my life, I feel safe. And that was my only conclusion I could come to for why writing sounded impossible. Even though it was something I loved, it was something that I doubted if I could continue with, even because I just couldn't get the words to come. I had, worked out with an editor and I was getting my notes back from betas, and even though it was simple, easy fixes, to this day, I've struggled to make myself open the document. I've struggled to make myself write anything. I've struggled to make YouTube videos, and I just started falling into a depressive spiral about, I've envisioned my life to be a certain way, living here for so long, and now I'm wondering whether or not the place that I'm living is conducive with the life that I've always wanted to have as a full-time author, as someone who creates videos on YouTube. I was doubting everything because I just couldn't make myself do anything. I was thinking maybe I'm sick, maybe it's the fact that the time has changed here so much in terms of, the sun setting earlier, it's the time for hibernation, and I was trying to justify to myself again and again and again why I felt this way. And I was just trying to push through the pain, and I was trying to push through the exhaustion and just be like, no, we can't burn out now. We're finally comfortable, we're finally safe, we finally can go after the things that we want to go after. And now I feel like I'm failing. And it's so close to the end of the challenge, and I extended the challenge so that it wouldn't end in November, but it would end right here at the end of the year. Because again, spent basically 2 weeks and more than a month or so homeless and recovering from being homeless and just really sick from that entire process. So I just wasn't going to count that against me. But I didn't want still to end the challenge on a down note. I still wanted to push through, and I just couldn't make myself. I wasn't sure if it was because now that I'm safe, now that I'm comfortable, why should I feel motivated? Why should I strive for something else when I don't technically need to? I'm comfortable. I'm at a well-paying job. I'm in a job that I feel like respects me. I'm in a job that is definitely a little bit more stable than what I was coming from. I felt safer politically. I had felt safer in a lot of different ways. And yet, how was I supposed to motivate myself if I wasn't running from something? At least that is the only thing that I could truly think of for the reason why I could not make myself right. And then I made myself right. And I realized, oh no, this is still what I want. There is no universe in which I don't want to tell stories in any capacity I can, whether that is through visual medium like this or through writing my books. Hell, during this challenge, I published an entire book. Like, this exists, and through all the chaos of moving and everything, I kind of forgot, and then I found the book when I was unpacking in my new place, and I was like, oh yeah, I did this right before leaving California. That's insane. And there's no world in which I don't want to return to this, and that I don't plan to return to this and finish this and so many other stories. This is what I've wanted to do for the vast majority of my life. But then why am I so sick? Well, ladies and gentlemen, enter the explanation. I'm going to be a mom. So yes, we're ending this challenge of 6 months to change my life with the biggest change of all. And you thought moving to a new country was going to be the biggest change in my life in this challenge. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, in 6 months and some change, because we deleted the days when we were homeless / stuck in Seattle with customs issues and then recovering from that experience. Yeah, we went from burnt out overachiever in California with buttloads of debt and a dead-end job that laid us off with no notice, to living in BC, Canada, with a better job that actually has things like benefits and vacation and bonuses and things, with the just best experience ever, with a bunch of new friends that we made through this challenge. And now we've got a little friend on the way. So I would say, yeah, you definitely can change your life in 6 months. I live in a new country now. I am never returning to the United States. I am going to continue publishing my books. Oh my God. Hello. I'm still working on the sequel for this. I have finally now gotten to the point where, according to my doctor, like I should be starting to feel better because I was basically sick from conception, literally. My symptoms were really, really early, but they're also leaving a little bit early and everything looks healthy and good and everything. And now that I actually have energy and stuff, we're gonna return to this. And that brings me to, what does this little guy or gal or non-binary friend, I don't know anything yet. What does this mean for my channel, my content, my writing, and everything going forward? Well, it's simple. We're still going after this while we got this going. I am way too much of an ambitious person to ever let go of this, my dream of being a full-time author. And yes, being a full-time author when you've got a little one is not maybe the most ideal scenario. However, at the same time, I think that if there was going to be any place in the world that I was going to do it, it would be here. It was not something that could have been possible in California. I don't even think that I could have been a parent in California because my health was just so bad, and it has improved significantly with no lifestyle changes, but just based off of where I live, based off of me not having really chronic migraines anymore. I've had a couple like headaches from pregnancy symptoms, but my migraines are basically gone. A lot of my other illnesses, ailments, my sleep apnea, IBS, lactose intolerance even, are just gone. And obviously, the most important to this little guy or gal is that I have PCOS, and so I didn't honestly think that this would ever be possible for me. I had so many health issues and everything in the States. I hadn't had a regular period since I was a teenager, and that was when they were like a week long and I was passing out the entire time because, again, PCOS. A lot of those symptoms alleviated themselves as soon as I got here, and I think that's the only reason that this could ever happen, because I've been with my husband for 10 years and we've never had even anything close to this, and we didn't do anything differently. And this guy or gal or etc. Still showed up. There they are. They're so cute. I'll put up a little bonus photo of when they did like a little turn during the ultrasound and they got them like with their little legs out. It was so funny and cute and everything. So I'll put that right here because I just think it's adorable and funny. Again, I'm way too much of an ambitious person, and I think the universe is showing me that this is the time for a lot of big changes and big positives and things. And so I am not giving up on this, even though I've been sick as a dog for about 3 months. I think I said on the Discord that I've been about as sick as a dog who got into the chocolate. And I think that was like, as soon as I found out and I got that little like positive thing, I immediately felt so much better because I was like, okay, it's not in my head. It's not the fact that I'm burnt out. It's not the fact that now that I'm safe, I don't know how to motivate myself. It's the fact that I have all of these symptoms and I have pregnancy exhaustion like nobody's business. I have been sleeping like nobody's business. I've basically been working and sleeping, and then I've maybe written twice, maybe 3 times since October. I'm gonna be honest, it's been fan fiction and not actually my books, because I've been struggling to even type. I kept trying to type artist and I kept typing autistic for like 30 straight minutes and I couldn't figure out what was wrong, and I was like, I'm looking at it and I know what's wrong, but in my head that was how you spelled artist. Don't get me started. The baby's taking all of the brain cells. But from all the research I've done, when you're at like the end of your first trimester, second trimester, you start getting, a lot of your energy back, and then that gets depleted again in the third trimester. So I've got about 3 months to capitalize on all of this more positive energy I've had the last couple days. Like a couple days before I got this one done, they say everything's healthy and basically the placenta is taking over the job that my body was doing before. So now I should feel good until about 3 months into the year when I'll hit my third trimester, and then I will probably be deceased again. So what does it mean for the 185 Insane Challenge and me changing my life? We're not stopping that, folks. No. This is an ongoing process of every 6 months. We're talking about new ways we want to change and improve our lives for the better. And we're going to do it together on the Discord, together on this channel. I'm still gonna be filming that process as well as writing, publishing, etc. But we're also gonna be doing some baby prep and some baby vlogging and things. I will of course be blurring or putting like emojis over the baby's face when they are here and everything, just for privacy privacy concerns, and to avoid creeps on the internet. But I still want to share, like, you know, my life in general and stuff, and that's not going to be stopping. But funny enough, baby's due in July, so that gives us from January to July 6 months to change our lives again as we prep for the little one to come. And in that time, I definitely want to get another book out before baby gets here, just in case, you know, if anything were to happen in the birth that requires me to have a longer recovery time and things like that. I want to make sure that I've at least published another book in 2026. It's probably not going to be the sequel to this one. It's probably going to be the first spin-off shorter novel. Out of these, it's probably about like this big, I would say, compared to the full size of this chunky beast. We're gonna get that prepped, we're gonna get baby things prepped, and we're gonna train and change our lives to become a mom, to become a mother. I'm still processing. Like, I've had plenty of the symptoms, but I think until I saw it actually look like a baby, because I got a very early ultrasound because I thought I was farther along than I was, because I was like, oh, if I've had symptoms since October, that means I must be like 12 weeks, because that means I probably got knocked up in like September. No, I was like 5 weeks when I went in, and now we're much further along, and baby is very much more baby shape. You can get the better look at the photo on my Instagram. But with that in mind, we're going to be doing 185 Insane Challenge, but not as intense. I would say not as insane, because I need to take things a little bit easier, but I still want to definitely publish a book and share with you guys the process of having and, you know, creating this, the biggest project of my life. Oh my God. So, I hope you follow along for this next chapter so far. But before we fully talk about what the next 6 months is fully going to entail, I still have to set up those sort of parameters for the challenge. I need to do my goals. I still have to even make my 2026 journal, because your girl's been deceased until about 4 days ago when I finally started feeling better. So we're gonna be talking about the goals for the next version of the challenge in the next video. We'll maybe add some like journaling with that, as well as I prep that journal that I still need to create. So give me a minute to do that. But we need to go over how we did on the challenge from the last 6-ish months. So let me jump over to my computer and let's chat about it. Canada Dry, the only thing that's been saving me. So for the challenge, I had personal rules, I had public rules, and then I had personal add-ons and podcast add-ons for my podcast, which is the Writing Craft podcast with my friend Holly. So you should go check that out if you like to mix witchy with writing. I also had some mini challenges, and then I had my secret Q4 goal, which, if you guys didn't catch obviously all of the Canada shenanigans, the secret Q4 goal was moving to Canada. So going over the public rules first and foremost to see what we actually adhered to and what we dropped the ball on. And I'm gonna be honest, we're gonna say drop the ball on probably most of these as soon as this happened, but we're giving ourselves grace for that, obviously. So first rule was 1K more per day than your usual goal aside from planned off days. My personal version of that goal was 3,000 words a day. Honestly, I kept up with this pretty good up until about the time that we moved. I didn't do it every single day. For the first, definitely May, all of May, especially before I posted my video, funny enough, that was my schedule. And then I was doing it quite a bit, except for there was a lot of off days when we were moving. I literally got laid off in May, and then we were moving by end of June. So we were like on the road and moved in here by mid-July, and then homeless for like half of July and recovering. But I think I started up again with writing 1 to 3K a day in about August, except for the planned off days, and there's quite a few because I was getting used to my new job and everything. But I'd like to say I did keep up with writing pretty consistently up until I got sick in October. The next was completely draft 3 books, about 500,000 words. And then mine was, write 3 novels and 4 novellas. So we finished the book that I published, which is Between the Shadows of the Dawn. It's Spicy Viking Romantasy, if you're so inclined. It's available on Amazon. I will be going wide and doing hardcovers and everything. Just haven't had the bandwidth for that, but that is another thing I think I want to make a goal for before the little one comes. Because I know some people don't like to buy from Amazon and different things like that. That was just the quickest way I could adhere to my goal of publishing a book, especially before we moved. Because I literally published the book June 20th. Steven, my husband's birthday, was June 26th. We also left that same day. And then I did end up writing the first of what I used to be calling novellas, but I realized I overwrite, so they're just short novels. They're still like 70 to 80K words. So the first spin-off short novel in the To Capture a Viking's Heart series, which is set in the same world as Between the Shadows of the Dawn, that one I did finish writing, and I did end up sending it to my beta, and I've already basically got my contract all good to do the line edit. I just have to go over the beta notes, which weren't much, to be honest. And there's like maybe 10 things I need to minorly tweak, like a couple lines, one additional scene to add, I think, and like one mistake, I think really is all it is. So that one did get completely written. There was not much of it written at the time that I started the challenge, so most of that was written during the challenge. The next book in that spin-off series, I ended up getting to, let me see the word count real quick. I'm on chapter 7, about 30,000 words into that one. And then I did also, when I was pretty sick, I kept writing a fan fiction of mine, which is almost at 20K. So there was progress in that, but it wasn't necessarily the planned progress, because I think I was supposed to do 3 full novels and 4 novellas, which like is insane with everything else I was planning to do. Mathematically, it made sense if I kept to a certain schedule and the habits and everything, but now knowing what we had to go through to get here was not possible with the packing, unpacking, customs issue that left us stranded in Seattle for a while, and then recovering from that because like we went 2 weeks with basically almost no food and things like that. So we had all of that going, as well as getting used to a new job, new country, transferring all of our stuff over to be like Canadian, all of those things. And then also the holidays, finding Steven a job, like all of those things. Not to mention being sick for like the last 2 months of the original challenge and then all of December. So out of that challenge of write 3 full novels and 4 novellas, we finished 1 novel and published it. We completely wrote, edited, betaed, and are almost done with the first of the short novels. And then we're about, not halfway, but like a good quarter chunk of the way through of the second short novel. And then I did keep writing the sequel as well. So I think I probably got another 20K in the sequel to Between the Shadows and the Dawn as well. I definitely got a couple chapters into that before even moving. And I'm almost done with a chapter before I got sick. I keep saying sick. And then the public rules is if indie self-published 2 books or 3 novella length works, if trade, query 2 projects. I've been in the query trenches. I don't know. I was like 2 projects, guys, even 1 in 6 months is pretty impressive. My goal was to publish Between the Shadows of the Dawn, book 1 through 3, and the Viking novellas, book 1 through 4. That did not happen. We published 1. I didn't push for the others. So do 1 author event and sign physical copies of your book, or go to an author event. For mine, I was gonna do 2 author conventions and in-store book launch. Book launch did not happen. The 2 conventions I did get accepted and was supposed to have tables to the Million Lives / Lies Book Fest, which I'm glad I didn't go to because that ended up being a hella scam. And then Fall Into Books Fest, which ended up being looking wonderful and amazing, and it was local to me, but I was already up here by the time it was local in California, so I didn't end up doing that one either. But I at the very least have been in contact with a local bookstore here to get my book into their store, and I've been talking to other local authors who I've met and befriended in the area, and basically getting tips from them on how to get my book in store here. So that wasn't even a goal on my list to get my book in bookstores, but like it would have kind of been adjacent from an in-store book launch. So that's in talks. My book will be in at least 1 bookstore in 2026 that I've already spoken to and got approval from, but the events didn't happen. I was invited to 1 event for 2026 as well, but that event is in Q3 of next year, so that is not going to be included in the next 185. That'll be in the next 185. Next was post 3 pieces of content per day. Yeah, no, as soon as we ended up in Seattle, I ghosted most things for a while. My personal goal with the posting was insane. We don't have to talk about it. It's not happening. It didn't happen. It never happened. Even before the challenge began, it wasn't my schedule. So I had daily, weekly, and monthly. None of them occurred. I need to get better with posting on a regular basis and having a schedule in general. But I feel like that schedule will be determined from the little one and not from moi. And then public rules was pick your off days, schedule healthy breaks, and honor them without guilt. I had picked Sunday with a June, September vacation and video games once a week. I played almost no video games. September was not a vacation. That's when I was actually going hard on things because I actually felt good. We get settled in here for the most part. June, not a vacation. June was when we moved, and it was insane. Make new author friends online or in person. And then for my goal, personally, it was just online because I didn't want to do anybody in person in California when I was like pretty sure that eventually I was gonna go anyways. So funny enough, I've actually made more in-person friends here, but my goal was online. I made both through this challenge, so like it made friends. Cool, love everybody. 5K steps a day. I was pretty good with this. I was amazing at this when we first moved here and when we were in Seattle because didn't have a car, had to walk everywhere. This is a walkable town for the most part, especially where we live. So I was getting good. I was getting like 10K steps a day regularly for a little bit. And that's when I was like losing weight naturally and unnaturally and things like that. And then that just didn't stay in October either. 5 bottles of water a day. How about 5 Canada Dry a day? I'm trying to stay as hydrated as possible, but water sometimes grosses me out right now. But the water intake's been pretty fine. Stick to a healthy routine of exercise or diet. For you, my personal one was yoga 3 times a week, 3 strength training times a week, PCOS diet, and 4 fast food meals a month period. And that included like restaurants, eating out, date nights. None of that happened. It was survival off of chicken nuggets when we got here because we had no money. And then the second I had money, I was cooking a little bit and I mean, you know, eating pretty healthy. And then the baby decided that they want to live off of A&W, and anything cooked at home is disgusting. So it's been A&W. A&W diet. Joined the 24-hour novel challenge in June. I missed this completely. We tried to host our own on the challenge as well, but also work through at me like last minute things I needed to do. So that didn't like really happen. No social media before 9 a.m. or after 9 p.m. Adjust if you don't work a 9 to 5. Mine was no social media besides work before 9 a.m. or after 9 p.m. Honestly, I've still pretty stayed good with this, to be honest. I try not to be doom scrolling too much. When I was really depressed in like October when I was feeling really sick, I was doom scrolling a lot. But for the most part, I try to adhere to this pretty well still. Or at the very least, it's no TikTok from those times because then I lose my entire day. This was stick to a sleeping schedule and night routine best for you. Mine was a 6 a.m. wake up, 10 p.m. sleep, 9 p.m. was wind down, and 7 a.m. was start writing. The writing thing's not happening, but I would still say the bedtime has stayed the same. My night routine has been pretty stable, except for when I don't have the energy to shower. Also because I'm worried about overheating in the shower and cold showers right now in Canada when I'm not used to the cold yet. It's not my favorite thing. Find one new hobby you won't monetize that brings you joy and stick with it. I did not find that hobby. I did not find that hobby. I found a lot of other things out about myself, and like I went to a bar that was really fun. I've never had a good experience at a bar before. One time I went to a bar and ended up at a Coke party. Don't ask me how. You can ask me how that happened. I will tell you all my insane stories, but but I went to a very nice bar recently and it was very fun. But like I couldn't drink. I just had it was good vibes. I just sat there with my water and my Coca-Cola. You know what I mean? But didn't really find a hobby. I mean, I guess I just play video games. I got a couple new video games, but like I bought them and haven't even played them yet because sitting here for extended period of time is still sometimes hard. But then again, I've only felt better for like the last 4 days. This could turn bad again at any moment. And also I had to catch up on things. And it's also, I'm filming this Christmas Eve. So I had to catch up on things before the holidays, big time. So I haven't had, the last 4 days, I haven't had time to find a hobby, okay? Or play any video games, even though I've been feeling better. My personal add-ons were my Penny's Writers Club on Tuesdays. I moved, then one of our fellow members moved, and now I don't know when this is going to return. Hopefully soon. I miss sprinting with girls on Tuesday. And then start TikTok shop and start selling copies of my book. Canada doesn't have TikTok shop, so this is a mute point. I don't know why I put it on there. Cover, edit, beta, pre-order, backend, KU for 3 novels and 4 novellas. Did it for 1. Lose 40 pounds. I have gained all the A&W weight. And that is fine. That is normal. Update all doctor's appointment, insurance, dentist, get a regular period back because, you know, PCOS, things like that. Still working on that in a new country. Reboot my newsletter on MailChimp and finish my author website. I did finish my author website. That is up. It's beautiful, wonderful. In my personal opinion, you can go check it out. I did find some typos on it though. Please ignore them for now. I was in a rush finishing this before we moved. Reboot my newsletter. I think I sent 1 newsletter. I think I'm gonna probably send 1 more before the end of the year. So do sign up for it. It's on the website. 1 blog post. I decided very quickly I don't want to do blog posts. Sorry if anyone was looking forward to that. Break even on publishing costs and start an author's services business. So break even on publishing costs did not happen. I didn't even spend that much though, but like I haven't had any chance to properly like market even the book. When I do market it, I get some sales and stuff. Haven't had much of a chance to do any of that. Author services. This was supposed to be sort of logos, branding services. I did get some clients. I still have 1 website I need to do that I've just been too sick to even think about. But definitely gonna use the second trimester energy to get that done. And then I have one freelance client who I do social media for that is in town outside of my day job. But I decided I don't want to do this. Like, I'll do it for some friends here and there, and I'll do it for me, but I'd rather spend my marketing know-how on selling my books, which is, you know, my dream, versus just having this business only as I want to have this business because I've always been told my entire life that I can't make money by selling books. I don't want to split my focus, especially not with On the Way. So I'd rather just fully hone in on being an author and social media marketing aspect for my things like YouTube and for selling my book and things like that, and finding my ideal readership versus helping other people find their ideal readership for payment when I make enough money right now to cover my costs. Now, will this change when I hit my maternity leave and I'm not working and I'm only getting paid a smaller portion of when I get paid on my day job? We'll see. It might become a necessity then. But for right now, I have this new goal that I will talk a little bit more about in my sequel to this video when I do my journal and everything and I come up with my goals. But in an ideal scenario, I would be able to hopefully have an easy baby, manifest with me an easy baby, easy pregnancy, and easy baby, where I could use my maternity leave to become a full-time author so that I don't have to go back to a day job, or I don't have to do things like doing author services or branding services for other people to be able to make ends meet. I would just rather make money through publishing, through my own social media, AdSense on YouTube, etc., than from doing things for other people. I'm burnt out on doing things for other people, if you can't tell. This is what corporate America does to you. Learn Spanish and French. Honestly, there's not much French here for me to need to learn, but it is nice to know. Spanish, I haven't touched my Duolingo, but also they're using AI now. So like, it wasn't intentionally a boycott, it was laziness, but it can be now. Finished 12 fiction books and 5 nonfiction books. I am behind on my reading goal so bad, and I have an entire TBR cart that I put beside my bed, but keeping my eyes open once I get into bed is hard. I haven't even made it through most movies or TV shows, so I'm trying. Podcast, I was supposed to do 1 episode a week or bi-weekly to a month, whatever it was. Didn't happen. Again, was pretty good up until moving, and I don't think we filmed one since. There's still a backlog of content in there for you to go through. And then I was supposed to do posts for them. Then Holly's been holding it down on that front for a little bit. I don't think she's posted a little bit either because we didn't have more content to do. Mini challenge was sort of like the glow up video that I did start filming in California. And then I did plan to reprise it, but then I started feeling like shit. And now I'm like, how do I continue that glow up thing while preggo? I don't know. I'm figuring that out, but I still would like to glow up in general in terms of finding my style, getting a color analysis, clearing and redoing my entire wardrobe and a beauty routine. I did clear my wardrobe, but I'm gonna have to like figure out new clothes so soon anyways, and then find clothes for my postpartum body. This might be a multi-series glow up thing throughout the challenge. I don't know. Declutter our entire home, did that when we were moving. Get a tattoo. Hopefully September 2026. I can do that because I've wanted to do it for my birthday for like forever, and I obviously can't get one right now. Go horseback riding, which I've also wanted to do for my birthday for ages. Don't know how I'm gonna do that with the little one. Do my California bucket list. This was basically a list of things that I had created for things that I wanted to do before leaving California. I did a handful. Nowhere close. Try paid ads. Oh yeah, and the bucket list was also supposed to be showing Jay certain things. So I think if I can find the clip, I'll put it here. One of it was supposed to be taking them to the beach because they've never been like to a beach, but that was here. And I literally just took them to like touch the sand because like they were just like in combat boots and stuff. And so that wasn't even in like California, but that was one of my goals, was to take Jay to just be around a beach. Next was try paid ads, didn't do that. Am I finishing my degree or not? If so, finish it and graduate. I was so close. I was like 1 semester away. I had gone and applied for Fullerton College to transfer there, had all of my paperwork done, was approved, and then couldn't take any of my classes. I had my classes picked out, I had my registration date, and then it was all too close to the moving stuff, so I was like, we're not even gonna try to attempt to do that. So if I do go back to school eventually, I'm gonna have this to also do, and I'll have to basically completely restart it here. So I don't know what I'm doing that yet. That is a future Jenna in like a couple years time to figure out. Next was to go to one pagan witch event in person. This didn't technically happen, but I did try. I did go to one witchy event here. Like I've gone to a couple, like I've gone to a psychic fair here. I've gone to a winter solstice market. I've gone to a couple like metaphysical kind of like markets and stuff. Those are like markets. I was kind of wanting a little bit more of like community, get to know people kind of thing. And I did try to go to one, and it just ended up being like the sketchiest area of town, and the doors were closed and it looked dark, and I feel like if they wanted people to show up, the door should have been open, and I didn't go in. I walked my ass back around and I left. But I did go to a couple like witchy markets and a psychic fair. So like I went out of my comfort zone in some way. Next was to help out and do some things with the Order of the Written Word, which is a secret society themed writing contest similar to NaNoWriMo. I did not touch that bitch this year. I'm so sorry to Holly, she runs it. Along with some other fantastic people, and I've really wanted to be a part of it and help out more. I made their logo. Doing it anything else this year was not possible. And then the secret Q4 goal was move, immigrate to Canada. Succeeded. Then I had to fix a bunch of like paperwork issues and stuff. All of that got sorted out. Then I sponsored my husband into the country, so he has his PR. He's very excited. He's like, look at my little card. It's so fancy. There was more ID specific stuff here. Find my husband a job in Canada. He has one. He loves it. He's very happy with it, and I've met some of his coworkers and they're lovely, and I want to be friends with all of them. So success. Pick new deposit, pick new apartment, put deposit down and move in. All accomplished. Get all the pets up to date on their shots and their babies. Done. Get two of our cats fixed. Didn't happen. They're still screaming because they're calicos, and this is definitely going to be a very soon goal because I'm not dealing with multiple crying beings in this house. Oh yeah, and then all the rabies shots for the pets. So all of those are accomplished as well. So I would say so far that the challenge was a success. Could you change your life in 6 months? I definitely did, and I'm still doing so. And this is not the end by any means. We're still going to be doing a bunch of challenges that I started and then wasn't able to complete in time because I got sick. And then we have a bunch of new things to do with prepping for baby. So for example, you know how I was saying I don't want to move again? Well, this is a 2-bedroom, but I preface that with saying our neighbors moved out and they had a 3-bedroom, so we will be dancing over there and getting a nursery ready and stuff. And I don't know if it's gonna be like a office/nursery because that'll be the easiest way for me to take care of the baby, but then I'd have to move the office stuff out once the baby is big enough to like have their own space. I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm exactly gonna be doing with that, but that's gonna be like a whole series, is getting that all set up and moving over there, getting just everything ready for the little one to come, and then also more book babies. You guys followed along for the book baby journey, and now you're following along for the baby journey, as we also do the book babies. So we've got all this, and then I still want to go over my astrology and tarot reading for the year and how that compared to the actual reality of the months, because oh my god guys, you're gonna scream. It's been very, very accurate, and I'm excited/terrified for my reading for this upcoming year. But that is going to be something that is going to probably come after the making my journal and my goals for the 2026 season, and then also for the 185 Q1, Q2 goal season of next year. But I hope you guys are excited. I am very excited and very just much more motivated now that I'm feeling a little bit better, and also that I know what in the world was wrong with me. Because I was seriously, I think I filmed a video that I probably won't ever post where I struggled to even get through it and to film it. I don't think I did it on my camera. I think I did it on my phone just because I was feeling so like horrible. I couldn't get this whole thing set up. And I was just feeling so down about like, you know, you try so hard to get someplace in life and then you finally get there and then it's not like what you felt like it would be like. And I was doubting a lot of things. I was like, I know I'm supposed to be here. I know I'm supposed to be here. Everything pointed me here and I feel better here, but I just don't know why. I just don't do any of the things that I enjoy anymore. And then lo and behold, it's because of pregnancy exhaustion. So that makes a lot of sense. So I literally started feeling so much better as like mentally, you know, emotionally as soon as I found out why I was feeling the way that I was feeling. And then it wasn't just, you know, me thinking that I had to rethink my entire life because I couldn't make myself write anymore. And I was like, what do you mean? I wrote this whole book and then all of a sudden I can't write 2 words. Now it makes a whole lot more sense. So I'm excited to next year be working on the sequel to this. I still want to, after probably baby's born, get the sequel to this done and out for you guys. And then I still want to obviously get as much done in the 3 months for the first half of the 185 Insane Challenge 2026 Mom Edition. I want to use that time to write as much as I can so that it can be kind of prepped and ready to go for publication once baby is out, and I can hopefully get some things like marketing wise on a schedule, so at the very least when I do publish books, people actually know that they exist and they can go and buy them, because I'm just really, really proud of this book. I think it's the best thing I've ever written, and I think everything going forward is just going to get better and better and better, and I want to just share my stories with the world, and that's all I've ever wanted to do. And so, but I'm just so glad to have you guys along for the journey, and I don't know what I'd do without you guys, truly. Like, it's just so like a breath of fresh air to talk to you guys, whether it's in the comments, just through the video, talking to the camera, on the Discord. It just makes me feel like I'm not alone in this journey of wanting to have the best most incredible life possible and that we're all striving for it together and in different ways at the same time. And I just love motivating each other and all of that stuff. So more books to come, more plot twists on the way.